This is a difficult time. It's a challenging time. We're still waiting on the final results of this election, an election that the media has called. And in the meantime, we're dealing with the likes of a congresswoman out of New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and the likes of some CNN anchors that want to effectively marginalize anyone who had or does support Donald Trump and his policies. That's a dangerous place for America to be in. I'm going to tell you that as somebody who considers herself very open-minded, as somebody who has voted for both sides of the aisle and will continue to vote for whatever policies I believe will help America. The idea that some CNN anchor is out tweeting that if you dare to withhold your support right now for the current vote, which, by the way, still needs to be calculated, right? It's razor thin, the margin, in several states, and it's being contested. Al Gore contested it for 37 days, but that's not okay, according to this Tapper guy over at CNN. No, he's tweeting out that if you dare to say this, that somehow it's going to poison you with future employers. This is a fear tactic. They are trying to now terrify Americans into believing what they want you to believe. You know, fear is a very powerful motivator. We saw, frankly, how it affected Donald Trump with coronavirus. Coronavirus is a very real problem. It's killed 230,000 plus Americans. I lost people close to me as a result of it. But yet, the way the media has interpreted it and blown it out of proportion to the extent that they are willing to let our economy completely go. And I've maintained from the beginning, you need a strong economy in order to fight this virus. They're willing to let our economy go for the sake of letting Donald Trump go. Well, they got their way. We think. Again, the votes need to be tabulated. They need to be counted. And given that this is going to the courts, I would recommend that people wait for the final word. But it's not going to stop the likes of AOC and now the CNN anchor from putting together their lists. Anybody who dares or dared to support Donald Trump is somehow on the naughty list, because they don't accept intellectual diversity in our society. They talk a really good game about appreciating diversity, but when it comes to actual diversity of thought, that's not okay. Because you see, these people are very threatened by anything that's different. And right now, things like a capitalist system for our economy really shouldn't be considered that different. I mean, it is, after all, the system that has benefited the United States of America for 200 plus years. Recognizing the strength of our Constitution, again, should not be a revolutionary thought. And yet, when it comes to socialists, when it comes to communists, when it comes to people that want to remake America in their vision, it's somehow not okay. Because you see, you need to tear down the fabric of what we are in order to start over and rebuild. I don't think anybody wants to tear down what we have. I think we've done a really good job, and I think we'll continue to do a really good job. And I want to say, for the record, I support whoever is the President of the United States. And I believe wholeheartedly that we as Americans must do everything to help him and eventually her. By the way, that's like her now, if you listen to Siri. Seriously, try it on your phone. I did this last night. You say, how old is the president, Siri? And she spits back that Kamala Harris is 59 years or 56 years, forgive me. I've got a screenshot of it because it was so remarkable. And 19 days. This again was around 10:13 last evening. Anyway, it's like, does Siri know something that we don't? I mean, that gets us to the whole big tech issue, which is certainly an issue. But right now, when you think about big media and you think about some of the extremists, frankly, the extremists on the left that have joined hands with the mainstream media, they're trying to suppress a viewpoint. And in my view, that's never okay. In my view, you need to welcome a multitude of thoughts. We need to welcome diversity of opinion, and yet look at what they're doing. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they do in communist societies or dictatorships, totalitarian dictatorships, right? Where they shut down the ability of anybody to think differently. I'm not okay with that. I imagine you're not okay with that either. And yet somehow the mainstream media is seemingly okay with that. Again, I would just remind everyone, we'll see how it shakes out. Right now, yes, Joe Biden is in the lead. But let me just pose the question this way. I mean, think about it. If the tables were turned and it was like razor thin margins, as it is, but the margins were benefiting Donald Trump, what would happen then? I think we know, right? I mean, you know the answer to that. I know the answer to that. The mainstream media ought to know the answer to that. They would be pushing for Biden. They have their biases. It is what it is. I mean, I think you all need to do a really good job and put the extra effort into finding your own news sources. Clearly, if you're listening to this video right now, you have invested that time and that effort. And you can look to things like TrishIntel.com, Trish Intel. You can look to things like Parler. You can hopefully be getting this on YouTube, my Facebook channel as well. All of these mediums are places where hopefully you're seeing some freedom of expression and some freedom of thought, because you know what, that is what I believe in fundamentally, and I don't care, you know. And again, I say this as someone who has looked to both sides of the aisle at various times and believed in both sides of the aisle, because I believe in America and I believe in a capitalist society, a meritocracy that puts all of us Americans first, above, by the way, big global businesses. That is one of the true successes of Donald Trump. He really was able to highlight in a very meaningful way the importance of putting the U.S. worker first. We have increasingly what I call an hourglass economy, right? A lot of on top, a lot on the bottom, middle class getting so darn squeezed. And nobody was looking out for the middle class. Middle class Joe, hopefully, will do his part. I say hopefully. And again, I'm going to give anybody who goes into that office the total benefit of the doubt. I don't give the media the benefit of the doubt, because I think we've seen the worst of them. But I give anyone who was willing to devote 47 years of his life to serving this country politically, wouldn't be my career choice, but, you know, I get it. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But I expect in return that he is going to give every American the benefit of the doubt, which means you cannot allow the likes of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her squad and the former Pete Buttigieg campaign people to be out there compiling their so-called lists. How is that getting us forward as a country? How is that bringing us together? If you really want unity, Joe Biden, if you really want unity, Democratic Party, you're going to find a way to come to the center, to care about the middle class, because the middle class is the fabric of American society, the foundation of our very economy. It's really good to see all you here tonight. I know how much you care. If you're tuning in, you're seeking me out, you're finding me here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Parler, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and on TrishIntel.com. I know you care. So let's care together, and let's keep fighting for what we believe in, which is freedom. And it is a fair meritocracy, because in the end, that is all that really matters.